next up, and keep in mind, one of these is terrible, so we're going to figure out later. I'm going to ask you which one was the terrible one. So everyone in the audience, take note. Let's see if
I had no chance to ask a terrible question.
Okay. The next potential terrible startup, Artstaq.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Art is a scam. This is how the financial sector actually sees today the art market, as a one huge scam. And the question obviously is why. When you see some of the art pieces, you know, they grow in hundreds of persons annually, some of them reaching really incredible prices, you know. Sometimes it makes you laugh how something like this can cost such a money. Obviously, the financial sector, without understanding what's behind, what is the valuation, how does it work, what is the process, what is behind it, what are the data that are actually the prices based on, they think there is something wrong in the art market. And to be honest, there is something wrong in the art market. Looking at it, art market is a 300 years old business model that remains unchanged since then. It is actually one of the last strongholds that resist the true digital disruption, and there are no fair rules whatsoever. There is lots of manipulation, we all know it's happening. There is lots of distrust from the financial sectors, and it is mainly due to the lack of transparency. Artstaq is coming to change the market problems, art market problems, once and forever. Artstaq is the world's first global art exchange, which is actually based on the principles of capital markets. And I'm not talking about some sort of idea that's going to happen in the next 3 years. Actually, this concept has been secretly and quietly developed for the past 3 years. We have been testing it in the Central European region and worldwide, actually. And we launched recently in October. We have first customers and we have first trades happening. Why is it happening now? It's actually now or never, because the whole art market is shifting online. Even the biggest traditional players are going online. However, they are bringing the old mindset together, so they are not actually solving anything. They are not actually sorting the problems out. They are not meeting the demand from the financial sector for art as an asset class. They are not meeting the demand for the new business model that would be based on transparent, open data. The opportunity is pretty amazing, because in the first place, we are talking about 100 million potential financial investors who are hungry for years to be able to actually diversify and put money into art, but the way they would understand and they would basically believe. In the later stage, we are talking to a huge number of people, because this is once closed sort of investment potential we want to open for pretty much everyone, even those who have few hundreds of dollars that they can invest. Artstaq is the new standard of transparency in art, and we aim to bring art as a new asset class. Is it scalable? Yes. We start with the fine art. Later in March, we open art glass exchange. Later we go to photographs, sculptures, wines, collectibles, and later in 2020, financial instruments based on this new asset. Time is up.
Time is up.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I think you made your point.
Let me introduce my colleague, Josef, our CEO. He's here to back me up for your grilling questions.
Teaming up.
Commoditizing art, essentially. Pork bellies, now Picassos. Can this make sense? For this to work, it would need to work globally, almost, yes? But should it start in New York or London, or I know the Chinese are going crazy for art, so maybe this should be so. Where would you start this?
It's easy. I invested in Auctionata. They are based in Berlin, London, and New York. So they are doing this kind of stuff. Yeah? So my question is, have you learned the lesson from Auctionata?
Well, we following closely Auctionata. Auctionata for us is a very good example of new business model, but it's still based on auction principles, which is something we are going completely against, because we are trying to base the trading in the real time as on a stock exchange principles, like a capital market principles. So the buyer of the artwork doesn't have it delivered to home, it doesn't need to, can leave it in deposit, and it's just trading as a dematerialized asset. So it's basically, it's mainly for investors, not collectors. That's the idea.
Okay, so you are just have a kind of securitization
Pretty
of
much.
artifacts, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the added, but we are also adding services like market valuation and rating of the artists on the platform. So it gives the financial investor who is not familiar with art some advice where and how to invest.
So location is irrelevant.
What do you think the real challenge is going to be?
Scalability and sourcing. Oh, sourcing and scalability.
Getting the artists.
Yeah.
How has that been going?
Sourcing has been going surprisingly well, because what we were expecting that the galleries, who are our main partners, would not be ready to give up the data, which
Right.
is their main asset. And they are so happily giving up the data. They are entering all the data into our data forms, and they are happily joining us. So that was our main worry, and that went away. So we actually have more demand from the artists than we can process at a time.
And to add, we are also opening shortly for collectors, which will bring new source of artworks for the platform.
Great.
It's a very interesting one we could talk about for a long time, but that's all the time that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
gentlemen.